Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So, I just recently saw a story about people who are trying to pursue entrepreneurship through beauty supply shops um, being essentially ripped off. And you can take a look at this news articles here. Metro Atlanta company promising to help people open beauty supply shops leaves some bankrupt instead. Beauty Supply Institute promised to help hopeful entrepreneurs run their own businesses, but instead, those entrepreneurs are facing financial struggles. And so I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically, these people were looking for mentorship in the beauty supply business, and they paid a good, amount of money. Like, they have to pay the commercial rent for their rent space, which is not cheap, much more expensive than residential rent, and they also have to pay the Beauty Supply Institute because I think they charge 15 grand, right? So they have like different packages, and 15 grand if you sign up, and then they'll promise you the world. Now, here's the thing: don't trust anybody right off the bat. In fact, don't even trust me, right? I've been ripped off so many times that I'm actually surprised when I give money to people to do their job, they actually do their job. Like I get really surprised at that, and you have to have do your best to have like a system of checks and balances. Now, here's the thing: I've modeled essentially myself to do business almost the way that banks do, right? I mean, think about your average, bank or creditor. Did you know they actually pay the credit bureaus to report information, right? Like you wouldn't think that makes sense, right? I'm actually paying you so I can report that information whether someone paid or not, right? And the reason why they do that is to share that information among other people so that, if some person who has ripped off one bank, they go to a completely new bank that they're trying to do business with. The bank knows, like, oh, I shouldn't do business with this person, right? But even though they have all the information and data on you, they still get ripped off. Now, here's a couple of things that we might be able to learn from the story. Although I don't know too much of the Beauty Supply Institute. The people who are going to rip you off the most and let me emphasize the part likely, are the people most like you, right? In theory, it's supposed to work out such that the people who are, the other tribe is trying to steal your stuff, right? Like we live in a tribal society, or I mean, not a, we don't live in a tribal society anymore, but our minds are designed for tribal societies. And so theoretically, the way that it's supposed to work is that if you're in one tribe, like I'm in one tribe, then we're all supposed to help each other out because we're on the same team, right? But the way that most scams work, and I don't know if you ever heard of affinity fraud or scam. So we'll just type in infinity scam. It says affinity fraud. Oh, did I actually type this in wrong? So affinity fraud refers to investment scams that prey upon members of identifiable groups such as religious or ethnic communities, the elderly, or professional groups. The fraudsters who promote affinity scams frequently are or pretend to be members of the group, right? And I remember a long time ago, I made a video about DJ Envy. I don't know if you DJ Envy scam, right? Um, this guy was promoting another guy. I think his name was Caesar. I forgot his name, but basically, they were like, "Yeah, we're like flipping NJ, and we're gonna make the community better." And then they like raised a lot of money and scammed a lot of people. Apparently, I'll just use the word apparently, right? Um, and they're like, "Yeah, he's just like you. He even went to jail. Red flag, right?" But that's just kind of like affinity fraud. It's like, "Hey, we're like you," and then they get your money and then they scam you, right? And the worst part is, it's to be honest, I it's really hard to tell what a scam even is, right? Like the only difference between a scam and not a scam is it's not the amount that you pay. It's like if the after if you pay after you pay is the work done, right? That's really the difference between a scam and not a scam. And even things that you think aren't a scam, Like, let's say that you become like a franchisee for Subway. I don't know if you ever heard about this, but there's a lot of, and this has been a known practice for quite some time. But you think, oh, Subway, they're a legitimate business, and they have a lot of shady business practices, right? And one of the crazy things is that they have this management structure where this is my understanding that they're actually incentivized to close down stores, right? Like, and you could read this article right here where it says Subway franchisees claim they're being forced to give up stores. So, like, if you have to spend all this money for like franchising fee, spend at least $100,000, get the commercial rent because commercial rent's expensive. Like, it's not cheap at all, right? Then, then it's like, and then the company that you hope to be partners with is a rival and a boss at the same time, and they're incentivized to shut you down. Isn't that a scam too? Right? In fact, I think like Quiznos had that problem too. And I love Quiznos sandwiches. They were actually pretty good. I don't eat sandwiches anymore, but I used to a long time ago. But even Quiznos had problems like that. There was a guy who self-deleted himself. And actually, let me just look that up right now. Quiznos self-deletion. Uh, what about this? At least I'm not going to say it. Yeah. Remember this guy? Yeah, attributing mistreatment by Quiznos. And it's kind of sad. Kind of sad. So it's like, what is like, it's kind of sad that even things that you don't think are scams are actually scams. And that's why, I just operate like a bank and assume, all right, well, everybody's there to kind of scam me. And then, like, when some people actually do their job, I'm like super surprised, right? And so, what I do is I actually just do a little bit of business first, just a few transactions, just to see if people are going to do their job. And then, what if, here's the thing, if you can't do $100 job well, you're not going to do a $10,000 job well. Same with the banks. It's like, oh, if you can't handle a $500 credit card, why in the world would I give you a $10,000 credit card? Right? And I like to operate that philosophy. But here's the thing, if someone is pitching you something, do your due diligence and always, um, or actually, let me say it like this: do your due diligence and never risk money that you can't afford to lose, right? Never do it. So if it's the difference between you eating and not eating, don't ever do it. Okay? All right. Well, this is a Korean Atlanta mentorship. Man, I'm just so sleepy right now, just cranking out a video. I'm probably gonna crank out another Velocity Banky video after this, but it's okay. I can't like go to fully sleep. I feel like my body is telling me crank out another video, which I will. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody, and we'll speak next time.